right.
Like if that was something that excited you, I mean, there's so many players to watch. Obviously, Lamine Yamal is the main superstar, but Rodri is that the midfielder that just never lost the ball, constantly found
he won, like, the MVP or whatever they call it. Yes,
you're right, the golden ball. So there's something about you and your personality if you found what Spain did entertaining, and it's easy to pick those players because they all play at the Barcelonas, at Manchester City. No, actually there were no Real Madrid players, but
technically one, right? Cucurella is now a Real Madrid player.
Oh yeah, technically, right?
Now, Alexis, so if you're watching these Spanish players, a lot of them play for Barcelona. Any context, any FYI, any warning before I become, say, a Barcelona fan?
Yeah, I would say, though, the warning is that the unity goes away pretty quickly after the World Cup. I would say that, what happens is a lot of these players, and I think this is important, right? So every nation has their own domestic league, and within that domestic league are a lot of traditional rivalries that have existed for over 100 years. So let's say you like Lamine Yamal, but you also like that Cucurella guy. This the dude with the big hair who was the defender that was running around,
going to
sliding everywhere.
The rival, right? Real Madrid?
Yeah, those guys are going to hate each other for another 4 years. And every time they play each other, the entire world watches. It's called El Clásico. And that is basically the Super Bowl twice a year, every year, and then even cup competitions and possibly even in another, like Champions League. So you're going to attach yourself to a pretty fun rivalry depending on which side you pick.
Okay, yeah. All right, so what if I, after this World Cup, want to watch more soccer in this country, the U.S.? Any suggestions, Alexis, for how to follow the National Women's Soccer League, the NWSL, or Men's Major League Soccer?
I would say, well, aren't you lucky? Because we have two leagues that have already started sort of in the wake of the World Cup finishing in NWSL, which is the National Women's Soccer League, and MLS, Major League Soccer. Now, that guy Messi, who lost the World Cup final that everybody seemed to either love or hate, turns out he plays in MLS. So you can follow him if you want at Inter Miami. Or we have two teams locally in New York City FC that plays here in New York City. And then you have New York Red Bull, or Red Bull New York as they want to officially be called now. They play in Harrison, New Jersey. So it depends on which one you're closest to. Feel free to pick them. And then also there's Gotham FC, which just moved from where the Red Bull play to where New York City FC will begin playing next year in their brand new stadium in Queens, right across the street from Citi Field. Very easy to get to. The 7 train takes you right there. You can watch both the women's game and the men's game. And let me tell you something. The women just won a championship. So they've won a couple, actually. So they've got some great players on there. Sam Kerr just came back from Europe, who's a superstar. And she could score from pretty much any angle. So I would tell you, if you wanted to watch the women's game, please do, because the Women's World Cup is coming up in a year. So it would be smart to get to know some of these players now.
If you go all in on a club, say Arsenal, and our family watches Arsenal too, I have to ask, what is the emotional cost? Because it's an experience that can take years off your life. The stress.
Can I let the Everton fan answer?
Ouch.
I mean,
ouch.
Okay. Yeah, well, you know what? It is, I get a lot of jokes about being an Everton fan, but even in the way you ask the question, it's like, what is the emotional cost? But I would say, what is the emotional cost of falling in love, right? Would you never want to have fallen in love at all, right? Like there is a cost, but it can be rewarding, even in heartbreak. This is where I always differ with Alexis, where I'm like, when I meet other Everton fans, we have an immediate bond in the misery that we've gone through, right?
It's PTSD, but he believes it's a bond.
Well, I'm just kind of hearing, I think you need Christian sunny disposition to be an Everton fan. I mean, it's been a long time. But, I mean, Alexis, even a team that does pretty well, Arsenal, it's continuous anxiety, I have to say.
Yeah, it's the hope that kills you. But I will say this. Think about how good it's going to feel. Like, even for Christian, think about how good it's going to feel when you get that first major accolade, whether it's to get to watch a team play Champions League. It hurts so much because it's going to feel so good. And I can promise you, as someone who finally got to taste a championship, it will feel that good. I think it's worth it. And look, Peppa Pig's never going to win a Champions League. What else are you going to watch on a Saturday morning?
Okay. Does she have a better chance than Harry Kane? I don't know.
Yeah, guaranteed.
You guys got to pick up the mic. You just dropped it, both of you. Okay. Finally, if I'm going to jump in to the soccer, the football world, spend my Saturday mornings watching a lot of this in the U.S., Europe, wherever, is there any juicy gossip, any controversy, social media trash talk I need to be aware of?
The easy answer is, I mean, we're still parsing through the end of the World Cup final with Argentina basically fighting against all the Spanish players.
After the final whistle, right? They started going after him.
Yeah, so the gossip right now begins in like, well, how are these players going to be penalized? Because it did seem like that FIFA was quite protective over Argentina. I was looking at some of the stats. They got no VAR interventions. They got no red cards, even though one player got 2 yellows. They committed the most fouls. The conspiracy right now is just like, even throughout the tournament, people were like, is FIFA favoring Argentina? Do they want them to get the final? It's very odd because also teams collapsed against them, and that didn't necessarily have to do with refereeing, but that's kind of what we're going through right now. But there's much, much more where all that came from, and there's much juicier stuff, but these are the topics we're going to be talking about on our show this week.
Will the Argentines be left off the hook? Alexis, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, Argentina usually harbors the people who did bad historically. So it's weird for them to be the one in trouble now. Let's see if that stays on the show.
Yep.
But let's see if you guys edit that out. But I think I would say, like, what made you fall in love or what attracted you first? I know for my wife and her friends who honestly love the fact that soccer is a part of my life and that they get to travel. My wife gets to travel with me and be a part of it, but has never really cared too much about the sport. What attracted her the most was everything Erling Haaland was doing.
The Norwegian striker, 7 feet tall, and the hair.
He's basically a Nordic Kardashian now. I don't know how he did this, but everything he does is so lovable. I think follow that guy. And I think this is the beauty of the game now. You know, we now get to see the personality of these players. And I think start to attach yourselves to these personalities because you're going to start to learn so much more about the game and become a bigger fan just through some of the superstar players, which I think the modern generation does. You know, my nephew, who's 16, cares more about the individual player than any club or any nation. So I feel like maybe that's the new way of following these nations and teams.
Yeah, love it. Alexis Guerreros and Christian Polanco are co-hosts of the soccer comedy podcast, The Cooligans. Go find them. Alexis, Christian, thank you guys.
Honored. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. A pleasure.
It's Here and Now.
Hi, I'm Regina Barber. Think about how many hours you're listening to Morning Edition, All Things Considered, or Shortwave in your car while commuting, running errands, or cruising around town. Now, something else to think about? Your vehicle can help bring you the public radio programs you enjoy and depend on. You can make that happen by donating a vehicle you no longer need to this station. Here's how.
Go to radioiq.org and click the support tab and select vehicle donation.
Harriet Clark was 11 months old when her mother was a getaway driver in the infamous 1981 robbery of a Brinks truck. The robbers were members of radical offshoots of the Weather Underground and the Black Panthers. For the next 37 years, Harriet spent Saturdays visiting her mother in prison. Her new novel is based on that. She's on the next Fresh Air. Join us.
That's Fresh Air, Monday through Thursday at 2 p.m. on Radio IQ.
Funding for Here and Now comes from the listeners of WBUR Boston and MathWorks, creator of MATLAB and Simulink, to design and develop engineered systems, accelerating the pace of discovery in engineering and science. Learn more at mathworks.com. And the Here and Now Anytime podcast. Up first starts the conversation. Later in the day, the Here and Now Anytime podcast continues it and goes deep. The Here and Now Anytime podcast, available on Apple, Spotify, and the NPR app.
It's Here and Now. There's no federal law mandating that manufacturers recycle old batteries from electric vehicles, although some states are moving forward with their own legislation. But here's the thing. If you dump old EV batteries into a landfill, they become hazardous waste. If you recycle them, you recover valuable minerals.
But there's a problem. As NPR's Camila Dominowski reports, the economics of battery recycling don't always work out.
Okay, are you there?
Thomas Andrade called me from his family's salvage yard in Massachusetts as workers prepped Chevy Volt batteries to ship out for recycling. The T-shaped batteries, more than 5 feet long, were very carefully strapped down to a pallet. And you do have to be careful because lithium batteries can catch fire.
I would still put that one there, too. 2 here and then 3 over. 3 over? Yeah.
Salvage yards make money by taking old cars apart and finding value in them. Parts that can be reused, scrap metal worth some money. And there are valuable minerals in these batteries. Andrade's sending them to a battery recycler who will shred them into something called black mass, a powder rich in lithium and nickel and manganese and cobalt. So how much money will the salvage yard make off this deal? Well, none.
The good thing with these is they'll at least take them at no expense. However, there's no revenue.
And Andrade feels pretty lucky to get $0. Meanwhile, across the state, Brian Bashand of Westover Salvage Yard was staring at another EV battery. This one, roughly the size and shape of a mattress, was from Tesla. It could be a moneymaker if a Tesla driver buys it as a replacement battery.
I think ours is priced at like $1,200 because when we try to price our parts to sell, we don't run a museum here.
But so far, this might as well be a museum piece. No one's buying it. His other option is to make like Andrade and ship it off to a recycler. He's priced it out.
That was going to cost me, if it was just one battery, $1,800 in total.
That's right. He'll either make more than $1,000 or he'll be out of pocket $1,800. Shipping hazardous materials is expensive, and the battery recycler will charge him just to accept the thing.
This is a liability. No one's paying me for it. I have to pay to get rid of it.
This problem of unwanted EV batteries piling up is expected to get worse. EV batteries are lasting longer than expected, so there haven't been a ton to recycle yet. That will change as sales increase and years go by. And the batteries are changing too. Pricey minerals like nickel and cobalt are increasingly being replaced by cheaper minerals like iron phosphate. That's great if you're buying a battery, but a big problem if you're recycling one. And David Kleneski is the CEO of Serba Solutions, one of those recyclers that shreds batteries to recover the minerals.
You know, there's really no value in recycling iron phosphate, unfortunately.
The lithium can still be recovered, but without profitable stuff like nickel to sell, a company like Serba needs to charge money to recycle that battery.
Because that's covering our cost to process them and to be able to try to make a little bit of margin.
This is a nationwide issue. When recycling is expensive, not recycling becomes tempting. And it's dangerous for EV batteries to pile up unrecycled.
There's really a risk of those batteries catching fire, becoming damaged, and that's a huge cost and also just a huge safety risk.
Jessica Dunn is with the Union of Concerned Scientists. She says EV batteries are already showing up in landfills, which is, to be clear, illegal.
But they end up there anyway, and then that cost falls on a public entity to try to deal with it.
Colorado is trying to get ahead of the problem. Katie Wallace is a state senator who co-sponsored a new law designed to make sure EV batteries get recycled.
It mandates that the manufacturers be responsible for that collection and that responsible recycling.
If there's a battery that no one wants, then the manufacturer who initially sold it, GM or Tesla or whoever, will have to pick it up for free and make sure it gets recycled. Salvage yard operators like Andrade and Bashand won't be on the hook. Wallace says that should bring peace of mind to EV drivers, a lot of whom aren't just trying to save money on gas, they're also trying to do the right thing environmentally.
They're doing their best to make it so that we are not impacting climate change even further, and this helps them do that.
Colorado's new law was backed by environmental groups, salvage yards, battery recyclers, and by major automakers who emphasize that they'll need the minerals from those batteries for future vehicles. The whole supply chain has a vested interest in making sure old EV batteries become resources, not burdens. Camila Dominowski, NPR News.
The Pentagon has identified 2 U.S. service members killed over the weekend in the war with Iran. Tyler James Feehan, First Lieutenant of Eva Beach, Hawaii, age 25, and 19-year-old Private Isabella Gonzalez of Carrollton, Texas.
Another service member is missing in Jordan. The U.S. says unidentified remains are being examined. A fourth American soldier, not yet publicly identified, died in Iraq on Saturday during the controlled detonation of a downed Iranian drone. So far, 17 U.S. military personnel have been reported killed and 430 wounded since the U.S. and Israel launched war on Iran in February. Iran says at least 3,000 Iranians have died in the war.
Here and Now is a production of NPR and WBUR. I'm Scott Tong in Washington, D.C.
And I'm Indira Lakshmanan in Boston. This is Here and Now.
Funding for Here and Now comes from Loomis Sales. For 100 years, committed to helping investors achieve their financial objectives, combining in-house research and risk management to create tailored investment strategies for every client. Learn more at LoomisSales.com.
Hidden Brain, the NPR show and podcast, is coming to Blacksburg Friday, August 28th at 7 at Virginia Tech Center for the Arts. It's only one of 6 stops in the U.S. The date has been moved up from our earlier notice. Tickets are now available through the Center for the Arts website or box office, or you can access that link at radioiq.org. If you're already a Radio IQ contributor, check your email for important information. Join us for Hidden Brain Live in Blacksburg, presented by Freedom First Credit Union, August 28th.
Support for Radio IQ comes from the Nature Conservancy. 75 years dedicated to protecting Virginia's lands and waters, including Virginia's Pinelands and Bottom Creek Gorge Preserve. Learn more at nature.org/Virginia.
You're listening to Radio IQ on WVTF Roanoke, WRIQ Charles City Richmond, WVTU Charlottesville, WVTW Charlottesville, WVTR Marion, WISE FM Wise, WQIQ Spotsylvania, WIUR Lexington, WEHC Emory, HD3 of WURV Richmond, and on 92.5 Richmond and 94.9 Fredericksburg. Radio IQ, a listener-supported community service of Virginia Tech, on your smart speaker and online at radioiq.org.
Fresh Air with Terry Gross is underwritten by the Davis H. Elliott Company, providing energy delivery services to utility and government partners since 1946. The Davis H. Elliott Company.
That was for me. It was
From WHYY in Philadelphia, I'm Terry Gross with Fresh Air. In 1981, members of radical offshoots of the Weather Underground and the Black Panthers robbed a Brinks truck carrying over $1.5 million. It ended in a shootout, killing 2 police officers and a security guard. Judith Clark was a getaway driver waiting in a car. She was sentenced to a minimum of 75 years. Her 11
Good afternoon. Good afternoon and welcome to the 2 o'clock p.m. session of Roanoke City Council on July 20th, 2026. Our City Council meetings are televised live and replayed on RVTV Channel 3 on Thursdays at 7 o'clock p.m. and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and video streamed through YouTube Live at youtube.com/RoanokeVA. Council meetings are offered with closed captioning for the deaf or hard of hearing. This time I'll ask our clerk, our Deputy City Clerk, Ms. Webb, to please call the roll.
Mr. Hagan?
Here.
Ms. Sanchez-Jones? Here. Vice Mayor McGuire?
Here.
Mr. Nash?
Here.
Mr. Vollison?
Here.
Ms. Powers? Here. And Mayor Cobb?
Here, and we are all present. Thank you. Is Reverend Adam Ayers here this afternoon? All right. I'm going to lead us in our invocation today, and then follow that. I'm going to ask our Vice Mayor to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance today. All right, that sound good? All right, let's stand, please. Loving Spirit, we thank you for the gift of this day. We thank you for all who are gathered here today for various reasons to contemplate and celebrate the important work of our city. We're grateful for all that makes us special. I'm thankful for these colleagues on City Council, for each of our passion and thoughtfulness and dedication to the work of this city, for our city administration, and everyone who makes our city work in such incredible ways to provide essential services to all of our citizens. We thank you for this region, for not only the natural beauty that surrounds us and that we are able to partake of every day, but also the beauty of our people, our diversity, our inclusive spirit, and our willingness to welcome one another in the spirit of love. So be with us today as we discern difficult decisions, as we listen to one another, as we take votes, and most of all, as we remember what makes our city special, each and every one of us. I pray all of this in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, again, welcome to everyone. The Council of the City of Roanoke is seeking applications for various vacancies on council-appointed authorities, boards, commissions, and committees. If you're interested in serving on one of these bodies, you can access an online application at roanokeva.gov on the City Council's page, or you may contact our clerk's office at 540-853-2541 or during office hours during the week, Monday through Friday, from 8 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. As we move into our presentations and acknowledgments, I'm going to invite my council colleagues to share some shout outs since we last met. This is an opportunity for us to celebrate and acknowledge special and important things happening in the life of the city that we've been able to witness and to be a part of. So, Ms. Powers, I'm going to turn to you this time.
Thank you. My shout out goes out to basically all of our city employees who've had to work out in this incredible heat and the work that they do, and they haven't missed a beat. And I just want to tell them how much I appreciate the work that they do for us every day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My shout out goes to everybody that made the 2026 U.S. Cycling National Endurance Bike Riding Championships a success here in Roanoke this past week. I was able to represent the city doing some of the handing out of medals, which was really exciting to meet these premier athletes. A lot of them were limping because they had done a 54-mile bike ride, so I'm impressed with all of them, and thank you to everybody in the city staff that assisted with that and made sure that it was a great event for everyone.
Councilman Nash.
Mayor Cup, I did not come prepared.
That's all right. Well, now we went to something on.
No, I was going to say it was the. I was trying to make sure I got the name right. So the playground. The playground. I was just trying to make sure I had the name right in my head. But I was able to go to the Via ribbon cutting on a park that is specially designed with the population of student who they serve, which are young learners with neurological developmental disorders ranging across the spectrum. And so it was really exciting to see the kids enjoying the park and exploring it at their own pace. So yeah, that was probably the highlight of last week.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I have two. I want to definitely echo Councilwoman Powers in thanking all of our city staff, but in particular our solid waste management team. I want to give a shout out to. I think they do not get enough thanks for all of the hard work that they go through day in and day out, and especially during this heat wave. It's really challenging work. I've had a chance to meet with a number of them, and I know how much they care about the city and keeping it clean and safe and healthy, and I just want them to know how much I support them. I know that it's a really challenging job. And my second is to give a shout out to the Rivers Edge Business Association. Several of us had an opportunity to attend that meeting recently at the Varsity Storage Business Park, and it's really exciting, I think, to see the redevelopment, the revitalization of that facility. The work that Stormwater is doing across the street at the Orr Branch Restoration Project is really exciting. And so I think really good stuff happening in that corridor of Franklin Road. And I want to give a special shout out to George's Flowers, which has been a many decades fixture of Franklin Road that is leaving that space. That building is going to be torn down as part of that stream restoration project. And so he's packing up and moving elsewhere, but just want to thank him for his many, many years of running that small business on Franklin Road. Thank you, Mayor.
I would also like to thank our city employees. They do a fantastic job all year long. It doesn't matter whether it's heat or snow, ice, they just do a fabulous job. And my other shout out goes to Visit Virginia Blue Ridge and all their employees and all the volunteers that were out for the U.S. cycling. It was a great event, and I'm glad that I was part of it as well. Thank you.
So my shout out is to the Harrison Museum. Councilwoman Sanchez-Jones and I were able to attend a preview of the exhibit Unbound, Exploring the Lives and Legacies of Free Black Virginians Before Emancipation with Brittany Flowers. It's a chance to kind of look into a history that doesn't really get talked too much about in Virginia. Highly recommend if you all can make it. It goes till August 24th. So, yeah.
Well, thank you all for those great shout outs. I have to give a shout out to Spain. I was at a watch party for the World Cup. I have to say, I didn't see the whole game, but I certainly saw most of it, and it went into extra time. But I was in a place where there were a couple of people from Spain who were there, and I had such a great time watching them cheer and celebrate. Ole, 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 ole. But it was an exciting game, and congratulations. And I really, you know, in Roanoke, we had so many places for people to watch the World Cup, but it was extraordinary to me how it really just brought so many different people together to celebrate an important sport, to see children and youth excited about seeing themselves in the players. And on the team from Spain, there's this up-and-coming 19-year-old who was really dynamic, but there's also this amazing player, Mr. Messi, on Argentina, who's 39 years old, and to see that diversity of ages playing and enjoying the sport. So kudos to them. I also did want to echo several other council members' responses about the USA Cycling National Mountain Biking Championships. If you have never had an opportunity to see these races, they're coming back next year. They announced earlier this spring that they'll be coming back for a third year. And consistently among all of the racers, whatever their age, they love the variety of courses. So they start on Tinker Mountain out by Hollins University for a marathon. Then they come downtown in Elmwood Park, and they get to see this cool course laid out. And then they get to go to Explore Park for a short, it's not a marathon, but it's a longer course that's very demanding. But on the short course, I was able to talk to the two elite champions, men and women, and they both said how much they love the crowd support here in Roanoke and at all of these races. And I asked them, do you see this kind of support as you travel around nationally? And they said they don't. And what was really cool is that most of the crowds here were people who didn't have racers. So this is just the general public. So I think that's a testament to who we are as a city and a region, and it's an exciting time, and so kudos to everybody. And I'm not announcing that I'm participating in any of those races next year. I'll be there to cheer them on. We're going to move now to our hearing of citizens upon public matters. This is an important time for us as council to hear from our citizens. All matters will be referred to the city manager for response, recommendation, or report back to council as she may deem appropriate. If you're signed up to speak today, you'll just come up to the mic. The mic's already on. You'll see a box in the upper right-hand corner. The green light means start, the yellow light means you have a minute left, and red means please wrap it up. Every speaker will have 3 minutes, and our clerk will call 2 speakers at a time. So the first one can come up, the second one can be ready. All right, Ms. Webb?
Casey Jones. David Hoops.
Welcome.
Good morning. My name is Casey Jones. I'm the co-owner of Townside Gardens, which, if you don't know, is a garden center and plant nursery located on Franklin Road. Townside has been doing business and paying taxes to the city of Roanoke for nearly 40 years next year. We currently employ 35 people across the garden center, plant nursery, and landscaping company. We grow many of our own plants in our production in a greenhouse in Franklin County. I'm here today because we need your help. Over the last few years, the combination of the continued growth of our city and the ballooning deer population have increased deer pressure across the valley and the state. About 2 years ago, deer began visiting our store. At first, it was infrequent and light browsing. By the spring of 2025, it became a really serious issue for us. In June 2025, we built an 8-foot fence around the 3 sides of our property that we can fence that don't face Franklin Road. That stopped them for a while. By the fall, they began walking just right down Franklin Road and into our store. Excuse me. As you know, this is a busy road and deer are frequently hit by cars in this area. We lost thousands of dollars in merchandise that fall. Next, we ordered solar power motion activated scare devices. They flash lights and make a sound. These worked well for about 6 months. We placed them around different plants and got good coverage, and that worked well for a while. Then they got used to them. That brings us to this spring. Again, this spring, we lost thousands of dollars in merchandise. We now have to either spray our plants every night and or cover them with netting every night before we close up, which takes time and labor and costs money. Over the last decade that I have worked at Townside, many of the plants that were widely considered deer resistant in our area have slowly become plants that are commonly eaten by deer. Deer damage and deer resistant plants are now the #1 topic of conversation in our store. We've had to adjust the inventory and carry certain plants accordingly. We are here not solely out of self-interest. We feel a responsibility to share with this council what we are hearing from our community. Many once avid gardeners have lost the joy of gardening after repeatedly losing expensive and cherished plants. This is what brings us here today. Once we decided to speak up, we began to research the issue from other perspectives. What we learned is pretty alarming. The deer population has exploded over the last 50 years across the state. Experts say the deer population in Southwest Virginia is 3 to 8 times what the native flora can support. The high deer population has caused a number of issues, including a rise in tick-borne illnesses in humans and pets, the spread of diseases amongst the deer population, a rise in auto collisions caused by deer, overbrowsing the native plants on the forest floor, which encourages the spread of often unpalatable invasive species. I've collected some studies and articles from universities and government entities that drill down on each of these subjects individually. I'm going to skip the one here because I noticed my time is short. We came today to seek your help and to offer our perspective on this issue that, as you can see, affects our environment, public health and safety, and the financial well-being of local businesses. We ask the council study this issue and engage local stakeholders from a range of industries and perspectives to develop a solution. I've prepared all the signatures. We got 600 signatures in 10 days from the community that would like to voice their opinion on this issue. And I've also prepared quite a lot of research to kind of give you a jump start on the issues that we're facing. I'm going to hand
Thank you
this to the
very
city
much.
clerk now. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for coming today. We appreciate it. Good afternoon, Mayor Cobb, members of council. My name is David Hoops, and I'm here for Pedal Safe Roanoke. When you adopted the safety action plan in May, you committed Roanoke to eliminating traffic deaths and serious injuries by 2040. Today, I want to talk about the single street where that commitment will be tested first, Williamson Road. Williamson Road is in the top 5% of the most dangerous streets in Virginia. About 20% of the city's crashes and traffic deaths and 1/3 of all pedestrian deaths happen here. The reasons are well known, and they come down to the design in the street. With no center turn lane, every left turn is a gamble. Poor lighting hides pedestrians at night, and 4 lanes invite speeding and aggressive driving. To your credit, the city has a concept to fix it. Narrow the worst stretch from 4 lanes to 2, add a center turn lane and bike lanes, and rebuild the sidewalks, signals, and crossings. Make no mistake, that design is safer. A 3-lane configuration is one of the most effective tools we have for moving traffic smoothly
lowering deadly speeds, shortening pedestrian crossings, protecting cyclists, and reducing the severity of every crash. And you are at a decision point. The safety problems are real, the demonstration project is about to end, and Williamson Road will be repaved later this year. The full set of improvements is so costly, the state is unlikely to fund it all at once. And even if it did, the work would be a decade away. So the choice is simple. Stripe the safer 3-lane design now and build the rest incrementally, or repave it back to the more dangerous 4 lanes. So I'm asking council for 3 things. First, commit to safety. When Williamson Road is repaved, stripe it for the Vision Zero design, 3 lanes with bike lanes, properly located bus stops, and high visibility crosswalks. Second, fund the rest in pieces. The full project is too big to win smart scale funding all at once, so break it into affordable sections. Start with critical lighting, then fill the sidewalk gaps, and pursue a mix of smart scale, US DOT build, and safe streets for all grants for the larger signals and infrastructure. Third, plan now for how the city will maintain physically protected bike lanes, a fix my colleagues will describe later in this series of talks. Public safety is council's first responsibility. The demonstration project is already reducing the number of and severity of crashes on Williamson Road, especially for the people most at risk, those walking and biking on the street. Honor your Vision Zero commitment and begin implementing the envisioned Williamson Road design when the road is repaved. Thank you. I would also like to add that I rode the street today. It was a lot safer than the 4-lane design, and I never thought I'd ride a bike on Williamson Road in my life. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Our next 2 speakers as well.
Jeff Schrage and Casey Meadows.
Okay, I don't see either of those. Oh, all right.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
My name is Casey Meadows, and I am here today to express my concerns that I have found are shared by many in Roanoke across backgrounds and ideologies about flock systems and mass surveillance in our city. I believe those of you that have supported the deployment of this technology did so with the best of intentions and with the safety of our community in mind. However, I do believe that in your pursuit of public safety, you went too far and too fast in deploying technology without fully appreciating how this technology affects the privacy rights of your citizens. Even if you are confident in the oversight and safeguards that you have put in place to protect the very personal, intimate data that these systems are capable of collecting, in the future, a different city, state, or even federal government could force Roanoke to share the data collected by a surveillance system that you have built. This is not just a rhetorical threat either. Since 2022, 82 different localities across 28 states have ended their relationship with Flock. Many of these came after internal audits found that their data had been shared by Flock with outside agencies against their will, oftentimes violating local and state law. Communities led by folks like yourselves that believed they could provide oversight and keep their data safe. Then, of course, we have the innumerable cases of intentional abuse of this technology by individual officers, too many to discuss in 3 hours, let alone 3 minutes. And the dangers of mass surveillance aren't just limited to Flock. If it's Axon or Motorola or someone else, no government should have the truly awesome power to know everywhere we go all of the time. I do not have professional background in law enforcement or surveillance technology, so even though the dangers I have laid out stand on their own, I have also emailed each of you a link to a report on the subject written by Dr. Stephen Keener, a professor of criminology at Christopher Newport University and the director of the Center of Crime, Equity, and Justice at CNU. I hope you will all take the time to read it. Again, I believe you all took the position you did with the best of intentions, but I urge you to take another look at the legitimate privacy and equity concerns these systems raise and decide that after what you've learned, that mass surveillance is the wrong answer and that we can have safe communities without compromising our constitutional right to privacy. Thank you for allowing me the chance to speak to you today, and again, I urge you to take a few moments to read Dr. Keener's report. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and thank you for sending that report to us.
Albert Krieger, and Barry Trent.
Hello, I'm Albert Krieger, and I'm here on behalf of myself and the deer hunters throughout the Roanoke Valley. And lately I read an article that stated that there is no hunting allowed inside the city limits of Roanoke, but I want to set the record straight. There is hunting allowed for deer. You just have to do it without the use of a firearm, so bow, crossbow, that sort of thing. And as the previous presenter had mentioned, it's become an issue with the overpopulation of deer here in the Roanoke Valley. A deer's home range, typically in a more agricultural woodlands type setting, is about 50 acres for an adult doe. So if you look at that on the map, a lot of the parcels here that homeowners own are much less than that. We're talking about eighth acre, quarter acre type parcels. So if you were to take that 50 acres square and place it, just about anywhere in the city, you're going to see it covers a lot of different pieces of property, a lot of homeowners, businesses, etc. And the average adult doe deer feeds on about 8 pounds of food per day, 365 days a year. That's an average. So that's a lot of food they're consuming, and a lot of different pieces of land that they're roaming on throughout the city in the course of a day or a year. One of the main issues, or the main issue I feel as a hunter that we have here in the city, is access. Currently, I personally feel like you need about 2 to 3 acres of land to successfully be able to hunt a minimum. If you get much smaller than that, if you're successful in shooting a deer, it may potentially run off on another landowner's or several different landowners' pieces of property, which you then have to go and actually get permission from them to retrieve that deer. It's up to them whether or not they let you retrieve that deer. There's no law that says they have to. Right now, I did some research before this meeting, and Roanoke City owns 1,668 acres of parcels that are at least 3 acres in size or larger. That's a total of 70 different parcels. And as far as I know, there is no hunting that the city allows on any of that land. A lot of other land is owned by LLCs and companies, corporations, that sort of thing. And I commend you for pursuing an urban archery program here in the city to help curtail the deer population. But I feel like in doing so, that access has to also be taken into consideration, because without the access, we as hunters don't have anywhere that we can actually successfully go and hunt. And I'd love to be a stakeholder if there's any kind of committee or anything along those lines, looking at that in the future. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for being here today.
Sylvia, I'm
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
sorry.
Could you say the name of this gentleman?
Sylvia King, I'm sorry.
Well, he's here.
Forgive me.
I'll
Mr.
let-
Trent, Barry Trent? Okay,
Yeah, welcome.
sorry.
Thank you. Mayor Cobb, members of the board, my name is Barry Trent, and I have the privilege of representing Roanoke County as a citizen representative on the Roanoke Valley Greenway Commission, and I currently serve as the chair of that commission. So as the board today considers the amended and the restated intergovernmental agreement regarding the Roanoke Valley Greenway Commission, I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you all for your continued support of the Greenway movement in the Roanoke Valley. Since the first Greenway plan was developed in 1995, Roanoke City has been an integral part of the development of this Greenway system that we all enjoy now. We are fortunate to have Ross Campbell and Katie Schlusher as the Roanoke staff members who serve as representatives on the commission, as well as Barbara Derrick, Dominic Harden, and Andrew Graninger, our citizen reps. As the current chairman of the Greenway Commission, I'm excited about the new organizational structure of the commission and look forward to working with the staff at the Roanoke Valley Allegheny Regional Commission. I'd like to take an opportunity to thank Jeremy Holmes, who is with us today. He is the executive director of the Regional Commission, for his help and cooperation in making this organizational restructuring possible. It's been over a year-long process, and without his help, it would have been very difficult to manage. I'd also like to take this opportunity to officially introduce Ms. Molly Maxwell. Molly is serving as in the position of a Planner 3, Recreation, and the Roanoke Valley Greenway Coordinator. Molly comes very qualified for this position from the city of Carbondale, Illinois, and has been on the job here since April 7th. We're very excited to have her in Roanoke, and we're already enjoying the pleasure of working with her. Molly, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks so much, Mr. Trent. Good afternoon, Council and Mr. Mayor. It's so great to officially see you and meet some of you for the first time. Really been enjoying the area since I moved here 3 months ago. Just this past weekend, I was visiting a friend in Floyd, Virginia, and she told me that her mother regularly drives up to Roanoke with her bicycle and rides the greenways. And so that's just one example of the hundreds of lives that the greenways improve on a daily basis here in Roanoke. So again, great to meet you. Happy to answer any questions and look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you both. And welcome to Roanoke.
Thanks so much.
Glad you're here. Ms. King? Welcome.
Good happy day Monday to Mayor Cobbs, Vice Mayor McGuire, and the rest of the city council members, also to the city manager, Turner, and her staff. I just come to give a shout out to the Valley View Walmart Valley Metro Shelter that is finally going to be under construction. And everybody should be happy about this achievement. Why? For the citizens who shop for groceries, pharmacy, medicine, the Metro bus riders particularly, that has endured the weather, the seasons, when it's hot, 100 temperature, when it's cold, when it's down to in the teens, and the wind blowing and the snow blowing, when you had to walk in between from the mall all the way over to the Walmart, when the bus missed you sometimes, and you have to stand there for another hour. So this is a great achievement. And I also want to give a shout out to my neighbor, Miss Price, the former vice mayor of Roanoke City, who has been an activist over 15 years to ensure that this project would get done. And she shared a lot with me, and that's why I'm an advocate, also being a member of Bragg's organization, to ensure and being a voice. It's a difference when you have a voice and nobody hears what you're saying. And I just witnessed that earlier. But when you have a voice and you see the challenge has been achieved, that is a great shout out to let us know that our work is not in vain. So we thank Walmart at Valley View for keeping a promise, first and foremost, and seeing the evidence that it will happen in the middle of August. Is that all right with everybody? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. King.
Deborah Carter.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, City Council. I just want to let you know that I am new to the game of biking, well, e-scootering. I have a sit-down scooter. But there's an issue. According to the ordinance, I'm not allowed to take my e-scooter onto the greenway. Yet that is the safest route for me to take. I live in Northwest Roanoke, and if you look at the map of the bike lanes, there's not that many in Northwest Roanoke. How many of you sitting on council would feel safe riding up Hirschberger Avenue to get to Walmart to go grocery shopping? Because that's what my scooter is for. It is my transportation. Since I got it not even 2 months ago, the 26th will make 2 months, I have already logged over 100 miles. And that's running errands, city events, community events, food bank, grocery store, doctor's appointments. I'm not on it for pleasure. All modes of electric bicycles are allowed on the Greenway. There's not much difference between a seated scooter. Yes, I can get up to 19 miles an hour on a flat stretch. No curves, no inclines. Our greenways aren't built like that. That scooter has allowed me to get to places in Roanoke City that I have never visited in the 13 years I've lived here. So even though technically I'm not supposed to be on the Greenway, I use it because it's the safest route. Lake Run Greenway is the safest route for me to get to Walmart over at Valley View. And then trying to get to Kroger's over on Rutgers. How are you going to do that? I was sent a route to go up Huff Lane. That's a very narrow street. The crosswalks do not line up with the cross street when you're trying to get from the sidewalk onto the next street. Who designed it? I have no idea. But getting to Kroger's was fine. Coming back, I assumed that the sidewalk from Kroger's all the way to the Hirschberger went all the way to the corner. No. It runs out at the K&W Cafe, and then you're forced into traffic, a busy intersection, and then you have to get into the center lane just across the street to get back to Huff Lane, to get back to Lake Run Greenway. So can we revisit the ordinance that allows people to use their seated electric scooters? Because the only difference is I'm not pedaling. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carter. All right, thank you. Well, thank you to everyone who spoke today. Appreciate it. And I'd like to recommend, Ms. Manager, that we, I know we've known for a long time the sense of urgency around our deer population, but if we could look at how best to address this and engage some of our community stakeholders. If there's concurrence on council to do that.
Yeah.
I have nothing left in my yard, absolutely nothing. I planted, I can't tell you how many sunflowers, and I was so excited because they were about to open the next morning. Guess what? Gone. Everything gone. And we've done the same thing. We've put up the mesh. I don't even know how they get in. I think they're jumping off of a wall, but I don't know. I concur with you. Yes, anything we can do. I tell you, a good source of somebody that can help you is Don Caldwell. He knows about that urban archery stuff. He knows a lot of stuff about it. And of course, he knows the law of it too.
Yeah, well, and Ms. Carini, I know there are lots of things we have to take, that we have to take a look at within our ordinances and what we're able to do
And the seasons.
and the seasons and the budget, but it's good. I really appreciate everyone who came out to speak about that today and gave us kind of a dose of reality about the implications and the costs. And I want to commend you all for doing, going the extra mile to just research what you could do as a business. So thank you for that. And Ms. Carter, I think, thank you for bringing up the issue about the greenways and access to that. That's certainly something that. All right, we're going to move now to our consent agenda. And all matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine by members of council and will be enacted by one motion. There's typically no separate discussion of the items, but if discussion is desired, that item can be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Within the consent agenda, there are 4 requests for closed meetings from the city attorney. One is to consult with legal counsel regarding a certain legal matter requiring the provision of legal advice by the city attorney concerning a code amendment pursuant to Section 2.2-3711A8 Code of Virginia as amended. The second is to consult with legal counsel employed or retained by a public body regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel concerning the disposition of city real property in the northwest part of the city. This is pursuant to Section 2.2-3711A8 Code of Virginia as amended. Item 3 is to discuss possible acquisition of property in the northeast part of the city, where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body, again pursuant to Section 2.2-3711A3 Code of Virginia as amended. Item 4 is to discuss possible disposal of publicly owned property in the central part of the city of Roanoke, where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body pursuant to Section 2.2-3711A3 Code of Virginia as amended. And then as a friendly amendment to the consent agenda, if amenable to council, from my office, a request to convene in closed meeting to discuss the council's code of conduct and ethics pursuant to Section 2.2-3711A1 Code of Virginia as amended. So if that's accepted as a friendly amendment, I would entertain a motion and a second on the amended consent agenda. All right, thank you, Council Members Powers and Sanchez Jones. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Hagan. Aye. Ms. Sanchez Jones. Aye. Vice Mayor McGuire. Aye. Mr. Nash.
Aye.
Mr. Volleson. Ms. Powers. Aye. And Mayor Cobb.
Aye. Thank you all, and the consent agenda is adopted. We'll move now to our regular agenda. We have no public hearings today or petitions and communications, so we'll move into our reports of city officers and the city manager. We don't have any briefings this afternoon, but we have several items recommended for action. The first is the approval of the 5-year budget for opioid settlement funds, and we have one measure, a resolution, and I'll entertain a motion and second on the resolution.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Thank you, Councilmembers Hagan and Powers. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title paragraph?
A resolution approving the FY27 funds and 5-year budget for opioid settlement funds under the terms of the agreement between the Commonwealth of Virginia and the City of Roanoke, and authorizing the city manager or designee to execute on behalf of the city any necessary documents to implement and administer the funds.
Thank you. Ms. Turner, anything you'd like to add?
Yes, our grants manager, Helen Ferguson, provided or team member provided a overview of both this item and the next item at the July 6th meeting.
Thank you. Any discussion by members of council? All right. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Hagan.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones. Vice Mayor McGuire. Aye. Mr. Nash.
Aye.
Mr. Volleson.
Aye.
Ms. Powers.
Aye.
And Mayor Cobb.
Aye, and the resolution is adopted. Item B is the acceptance and appropriation of fiscal year 27 Virginia Opioid Abatement Authority funds. We have one measure and ordinance, and I'll entertain a motion and second.
Move the ordinance.
Second.
Thank you, Councilmembers Hagan and Volleson. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title paragraph?
An ordinance to accept Virginia Opioid Abatement Authority funds for FY27 in the amount of $1,318,342 with the reappropriation of funds from the city in the amount of $394,463 and a match from other localities in the amount of $210,326 for total funding in the amount of $1,923,131, appropriating FY27 VOAA funds detailed more fully infra, and authorizing the city manager or designee to execute any documents necessary to accept such funds, and dispensing with the second reading of this ordinance by title.
Thank you. Ms. Turner, anything to add to that? All right, thank you. Any discussion by members of council? All right. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Hagan?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones? Vice Mayor McGuire?
Aye.
Mr. Nash?
Aye.
Mr. Volleson?
Aye.
Ms. Powers? And Mayor Cobb.
Aye, and the ordinance is adopted. Item C is the resolution for support for Smart Scale 2026 applications. We have one measure, a resolution, and I'll entertain a motion and second on the resolution.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Thank you, Council Member Volleson and Vice Mayor McGuire. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title paragraph?
A resolution supporting 4 applications and authorizing the city manager or designee to submit 4 applications to the Virginia Department of Transportation for funds from the Smart Scale program for certain projects in the city, and authorizing the city manager or designee to take certain actions in connection with such projects.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ms. Turner.
Yes, thank you. The 4 transportation improvement projects that will be submitted through this application will be focused on roadway safety, accessibility, and traffic operations, as well as regional support for the related Roanoke County application.
Discussion by members of council. Mr. Volleson.
I was wondering if somebody could describe what those 4 projects are going to be.
Yeah, Mr. Campbell.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, and Councilmember Volleson, thank you for the question. So the city has, under the Smart Scale program, authorized by VDOT and the Commonwealth Transportation Board, the ability to submit 4 applications. So we have 4 projects that are being considered. Now, these projects, if they are selected, funding would flow in either FY32 or FY33, depending upon the budget authorizations within the Commonwealth's budget. So the 4 projects being considered, as Ms. Turner said, are improving access and safety on our roadways. And the first one being considered is Orange Avenue between Gainsborough Road and 22nd Street Northwest. The Office of Intermodal Planning and Investment, run by VDOT, came to the city, and much like we heard about Williamson Road, this is one of the top streets by volume in the Commonwealth for safety concerns. It's in the top 5% in the Commonwealth. And so there are some suggestions that have been recommended as part of the OIP, or Office of Intermodal Planning and Investments, look into this, that address pedestrian access, address traffic flow, and other structural improvements to the corridor. The overall project estimated at about $12 million. The Regional Commission, Transportation Planning Committee has authorized about $2.4 million in STBG buy down on this particular project. Also noted on this particular project, we like to leverage outside money, other people's money, so to speak, OPM, for addressing concerns where we can. As many know, the Water Authority undertook a project to improve the water mains through this particular corridor from 10th Street out to almost 22nd Street over the last 6 months. They will be paving Orange Avenue in this section here in the coming weeks. Through our community engagement and work on this particular study with the OIP office, we will be moving to have a 3-lane configuration, so 1 lane in each direction with the center turn lane. It will also enhance pedestrian crosswalks through marked crosswalks. Yet there's still more work to be done, and so that's why this particular project is being submitted. The next one is at RCIT, that is a secondary access. Through Smart Scale rounds 3, 4, and 5, the city received nearly $60 million to improve traffic flow along 460 from 581 out towards the county line. The secondary access would enhance the overall outcome of those by allowing truck traffic and commercial traffic into RCIT multiple avenues of entrance rather than just relying solely upon the Blue Hills entrance. That particular project right now is estimated at $14.4 million with the with the TPO, authorizing $2.9 million in STBG funding to buy down that project. The next project being submitted is the Williamson Road Liberty intersection. The geometry on this intersection is less than ideal, both for vehicles and pedestrians, and those using other mobility devices through the corridor. And so this particular project would enhance and align with the city's Vision Zero plan to improve the overall flow and function of this intersection for all users. Estimated at $10.4 million, again with the TPO authorizing STBG, so that's Surface Transportation Block Grant Funding buy down of $2.1 million. The last project being submitted is on Campbell Avenue, intersections at 5th and 6th Street. Both these intersections carry a fair amount of traffic, and pedestrian access and ADA access is challenged in both of these. And so this particular project would enhance signal improvements and ADA access at both these intersections to ease the concerns that we have about the safety risk to pedestrians and other mobility users through those intersections. Estimated at $4.2 million, again with TPO authorizing $800,000 in buy down on this project. Happy to answer any questions that council may have about these 4 projects.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Any questions for Mr. Campbell? All right. Any additional questions? All right. You call the roll, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Hagan?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones?
Aye.
Vice Mayor McGuire?
Aye.
Mr. Nash?
Aye.
Mr. Volleson?
Aye.
Ms. Powers?
Aye.
And Mayor Cobb?
Aye. And the resolution is adopted. Thank you. Item D is the acceptance and approval of fiscal year 27 Virginia Sexual and Domestic Violence Victim Fund grant. There is one measure, an ordinance, and I'll entertain a motion and second on the ordinance.
Move the ordinance, the motion.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Powers, and was that Councilman Volleson? Thank you. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title paragraph?
An ordinance authorizing the acceptance of the FY27 Virginia Sexual and Domestic Violence Victim Fund Grant from the Commonwealth of Virginia, Department of Criminal Justice Services, appropriating 2026-2027 grant funds, detailed more fully infra, authorizing the city manager or designee to execute any necessary documents necessary to accept such grant, and dispensing with the second reading of this ordinance by title.
Thank you. Ms. Turner?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This grant will support the Police Department's Sexual Violence Hispanic Outreach Specialist position, which provides bilingual victim advocacy, outreach, and investigative support.
Important program for us. Any discussion by members of council? All right, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Hagan?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones? Vice Mayor McGuire?
Aye.
Mr. Nash?
Aye.
Mr. Volleson?
Aye.
Ms. Powers?
Aye.
And Mayor Cobb?
Aye, and the resolution, or the ordinance is adopted. Thank you. Item E is the acceptance and appropriation of the program year 2026 entitlement funds from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development for the Community Development Block Grant Program, Home Investment Partnership Program, and the Emergency Solutions Grant. We have one measure and ordinance, and I'll entertain a motion and second.
Move the ordinance.
Thank you, Councilmembers Volleson and Sanchez Jones. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title paragraph?
An ordinance authorizing acceptance and appropriation of the program year 2026 entitlement funds from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development for the Community Development Block Grant Program, Home Investment Partnership Program, and Emergency Solutions Grant, appropriating 2026-2027 grant funds detailed more fully infra, and dispensing with the second reading of this ordinance by title.
Ms. Turner?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The grants from HUD helps the city to support affordable housing, community development, homelessness assistance, public infrastructure, and economic development initiatives.
Any questions or comments from council? Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Hagan?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones? Vice Mayor McGuire?
Aye.
Mr. Nash?
Aye.
Mr. Volleson?
Aye.
Ms. Powers? Mayor Cobb?
Aye, and the ordinance is adopted. Item F is the acceptance of a $4 million appropriation from the Commonwealth of Virginia for development of lab space to secure an anchor tenant at Rova Labs located at 1030 South Jefferson Street. We have one measure, an ordinance, and I'll entertain a motion and second.
Move the ordinance. Second.
Thank you, Councilmembers Hagan and Volleson. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title paragraph?
An ordinance authorizing the acceptance of funds from the Commonwealth of Virginia for the development of advanced laboratory space within ROVA Labs, ratifying and authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding between the City of Roanoke and the Virginia Economic Development Partnership, and such subrecipient MOUs on behalf of the city, appropriating funds detailed more fully in FRA, and dispensing with the second reading of this ordinance by title.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ms. Turner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Rova Labs has been awarded an additional $4 million in state funding to build out specialized laboratory space on the ground floor and attract a cell and gene therapy company as its anchor tenant. The project is expected to expand Roanoke's life sciences ecosystem, create high-skilled jobs, and requires no city funding. I repeat that. It requires no city funding because a local match will be provided by private partners.
Fantastic news.
And Mr. Nelson is here should you have any questions.
Any questions or discussion by members of council?
I think this is a great program, and thank you, all of y'all, for working on this. It's going to be really good for Roanoke.
Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Hagan.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones.
Aye.
Vice Mayor McGuire.
Aye.
Mr. Nash.
Aye.
Mr. Volleson. Ms. Powers.
Aye.
And Mayor Cobb.
Aye, and the ordinance is adopted. Now I'll turn to our manager, Ms. Turner, for comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have 4 comments for today. Number 1, work on Gainsborough Road Complete Streets project is now complete, and Public Works has launched an interactive before and after web application to help residents explore the improvements. The project adds features such as pedestrian signals, safer crossings, ADA accessible ramps, bike and scooter accommodations, and other enhancements designed to improve safety, accessibility, and connectivity for all users. Number 2, the Belmont Branch Library's environmental camp provided young participants with hands-on opportunities to learn about environmental stewardship. Through partnerships with the Clean Valley Council, campers explored topics like water pollution and local conservation, helping build awareness through engaging community-focused initiatives. Number 3, the Stormwater Division will host the 10th annual Tinker Creek Cleanup this August, and registration is open through July 22nd. Over the past 9 cleanup events, staff and volunteers have removed more than 32 tons of trash and 446 tires from the creek and surrounding areas. And my last comment, the Roanoke Public Library Foundation was recognized for its role in launching the Dolly Parton Imagination Library program in our region. Through this partnership, children across the Roanoke and New River Valleys now have access to free, high-quality books delivered to their homes each month, supporting early literacy and lifelong learning. Those are my comments.
Thank you. We don't have a public matters follow-up today, so we'll move on to item 2, our city attorney. And we do have an item, the consideration of an amended and restated intergovernmental agreement regarding the Roanoke Valley Greenway. We have one measure and ordinance, and I'll need a motion and second.
Move the ordinance.
Second. Thank you, Councilmembers Hagan and Volleson. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title paragraph?
An ordinance repealing ordinance number 40508-051616, adopted May 16th, 2016, authorizing the first amended intergovernmental agreement establishing the Roanoke Valley Greenway Commission, and adopting an ordinance authorizing the second amended and restated intergovernmental agreement regarding the Roanoke Valley Greenway, and dispensing with the second reading of this ordinance by title.
Thank you. Ms. Turner, or, sorry, Ms. Carini.
Thank you,
Any
Mayor.
additional comments on this?
Sure. The purpose of this amended agreement is to reorganize the Greenway Commission as a Greenway Committee under the Regional Commission. Jeremy Holmes is here if you have questions for him. Ross Campbell is also involved, and Katie Slusher if you have questions.
Question.
Powers.
So does Roanoke County or Salem or any of those other localities have to also agree to this agreement through voting through their?
Correct. It's the city of Salem, town of Vinton, and the counties of Roanoke and Botetourt.
And have they already done it, or?
I know some of them have. I don't know the status. It's all kind of around this time. I think at least one has passed it, but the others are still considering it.
Mr. Holmes, not to put you on the spot, but you might have some additional information on where we are with those other localities. So thank you for letting me put you on the spot.
Mr. Mayor. My understanding, the Botetourt has passed. Roanoke County, Vinton, Salem have all done the first reading. So I think we expect everyone to have completed the second reading and passed the IGA by the end of the month.
And a reminder of how many localities are involved in this.
Correct.
Yeah. Mr. Volleson.
I want to thank the Regional Commission for taking over this important asset that we have here in the Valley, and I'm sure it's under good hands with our Molly, who has just joined y'all. So thank you for continuing to build this regional asset for us.
We appreciate the city's continued support and the trust in putting this with the Regional Commission to continue to develop and support the greenways.
Other questions? Mr. Nash.
What are, I guess, what are the benefits or what kind of sparked the transition from taking it from a commission to a committee under the Roanoke Allegheny Regional?
Yeah, a number of things kind of initiated this discussion about a year ago. Some of them were the transition in the Greenway Coordinator role that had previously been held by Ms. Belcher for 26 years, I believe. Plus, the nature of the Greenway work is changing. Over the previous 2-3 decades, a lot of that work was focused on building the backbone of the Roanoke River Greenway, the 26 contiguous miles, the cross-jurisdictional work around how to coordinate that across all the Parks and Recs departments and localities. We're rapidly completing that section of that major Roanoke River Greenway, and now we're looking at, well, what's the next vision for how the greenways expand? Things like neighborhood connectors, maintenance, which is an entire different beast from construction, expanding to partners like Botetourt and other connectivity issues. So that's kind of a whole other level of work. You heard references to the TPO earlier during the smart scale discussion. $35 million of the Greenway project has been funded over its history through money from the TPO, and so a lot of that work has already lived with the Regional Commission and the TPO, so we feel that the consensus of the Greenway Commission and Mr. Trent, the folks who have worked on this transition, is that relocating that within the Regional Commission puts it within the planning staff structure, the funding structures that have already existed, so it should help just facilitate whatever this next phase of the project looks like.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Good to see you. I just want to say thank you, also echo Mr. Volleson's comments to the Regional Commission and all of your work and time on this. And I think this is going to be a great step for the Greenway Commission, now committee. And I look forward to meeting Ms. Maxwell. Welcome to the work. And I really appreciate, again, just that all of the work that you put into this and the other localities and figuring out how can we continue the work and keep the momentum up because the nature of it has changed. But we appreciate how important it is to continue working on the Greenway and the system and building it out, and really welcome the chance to do that through the Greenway or the Roanoke Valley Allegheny Regional Commission. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right. Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you.
All right. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Hagan?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez-Jones?
Aye.
Vice Mayor McGuire?
Aye.
Mr. Nash?
Aye.
Mr. Volleson?
Aye.
Ms. Powers?
Aye.
And Mayor Cobb?
Aye, and the ordinance is adopted. We'll move now to reports of committees. A request of the Roanoke City School Board to reappropriate over $17.8 million in prior year funding for capital needs expenditures. Before we move into this measure, I'll ask my two colleagues, Vice Mayor McGuire and Councilwoman Sanchez Jones, to read their statements.
I, Vivian Sanchez Jones, state that I have a personal interest in item number 8.1 relating to the Roanoke City School Board reappropriation prior year's funding for capital needs expenditure because I am an employee of Roanoke City Public School, and as an employee, I have a personal interest in this transaction. Therefore, in accordance with Virginia Code Section 2.2-3112, I will refrain from participation in this matter, and I ask the clerk to accept this statement and ask that it be made part of the minutes of this meeting.
I, Stephen Terry McGuire, state that I have a personal interest in item number 8.1 relating to the Roanoke City School Board reappropriating prior year funding for capital needs expenditures because I am an employee of Roanoke City Public Schools, and as an employee, I have a personal interest in this transaction. Therefore, in accordance with Virginia Code Section 2.2-3112, I will refrain from participation in this matter. I ask that the clerk accept this statement and ask that it be made a part of the minutes of this meeting.
Thank you both. Now we have one measure for consideration, an ordinance, and I'll entertain a motion and second on the ordinance.
Move the ordinance.
Second.
Thank you, Councilmembers Hagan and Nash. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title paragraph?
An ordinance appropriating additional funds to the school board of the city of Roanoke by major classification and dispensing with the second reading by title of this ordinance.
Thank you. Any discussion from members of council? All right. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Hagan. Aye. Mr. Nash.
Aye.
Mr. Volleson.
Aye.
Ms. Powers.
Aye.
And Mayor Cobb.
Aye. And the ordinance is adopted. Would you mind? I was going to tell him not to go far. We'll go ahead and resume. This is an opportunity for any city council members who serve as liaisons for different authorities, boards, or committees or commissions to share out any reports. Do we have any liaison reports today? One, we earlier today had the meeting of the GRTC Greater Roanoke Transit Company Board, and a couple of highlights. First of all, I want to thank 4 individuals who've served since the beginning of our TPAC, our Transit Passenger Advisory Council, starting 6 years ago. Steve Grammer, Laura Hartman, Sean McGinnis, and Hope Trachtenberg-Pfeiffer. I want to thank all of them for their years of service and their dedication to improving and expanding transit in our community. We do still have 3 vacancies. We elected 2 new members today, but we have 3 vacancies that we'll be working to fill on that on the TPAC. So if there are citizens who are engaged with transit and want to continue to play an active role in supporting transit, you can go to the Valley Metro website to access an application, or contact myself or Councilwoman Vivian Sanchez Jones, who serves as Vice President of that board. As Ms. King alluded to earlier, construction, do you want to share that? I'll let you share the good news.
No, you
go ahead.
for it.
Well, we are so excited that we have a new bus shelter under construction at Walmart at Valley View. This has been a project that we've been working on for 20 years and kept hitting a lot of dead ends. And Walmart finally said, you know what, there's a different solution to this. So that is under construction. We expect that new shelter will be open mid-August, so not far from now. If you're coming out of the front of Walmart after you've shopped there, this station will be over to the right on the far end of the parking lot. Where the shelter used to be was kind of precarious because there wasn't a dedicated shelter there. It was along the ring road. We'll still have 2 routes servicing that area, but one route in particular will service that shelter and bus stop. And it's a double shelter, so it's going to be one of the larger ones that we have in the community. So we're very excited about that. I also want to let you know that we approved today the new fare schedule. We appreciated Vice President Sanchez-Jones leading the public hearing that was held earlier in June. We had very positive feedback from the community, and it's been a number of years, over a decade, since we've considered any kind of fare increase. Those new fares will take effect January 1st of 2027, and so we'll have a lot of time to roll that out and make people aware of it. So those are the highlights from the GRTC board this afternoon. All right, we'll move. We don't have any unfinished business or introduction and considerations of ordinance and resolutions, so we'll move now to motions and miscellaneous business. And this is an opportunity for any inquiries or comments by myself or members of council. Does anyone have? Ms. Powers?
This is for our city manager. Could you, I've sent, and I think all of us on council might have been getting the emails about the situations in Southeast. And has that been turned over for someone in our police department to work with those neighborhoods or work with the lady that's been sending us the emails?
Yes, we have taken a really proactive step, both the police department, code, our homeless assistance team, they all have been working together to address it, and Public Works.
And can we continue to get
An
updates
update?
on this as
Absolutely.
things are going on?
Sure.
'Cause, I mean, I get these emails every day
Yeah.
and videos and text every day. So thank you very much for that update.
It's an ongoing challenge, and I appreciate our, not only our city employees, but our community partners who are trying to address this.
And the citizens have been very nice. I mean, they have been very nice when they've called and talked to me, but I mean, it is at a point now to where they're very frustrated.
Yeah, we reached out to the individual that sent you the email, and we reached out to her personally. We had a conversation with her, and we went through a number of issues that she had, and so we're already working on those.
Thank you.
Mr. Volleson?
Yes, I just wanted to make a statement about some issues here on the dais that have come up over the past weekend. After the July 6th council meeting, I made a comment to Councilmember Nash that I regret. I told him in reference to a vote where he and Councilmember Hagan sided together that, quote, Hagan owns you, quote, unquote. It was a frustrated remark about Mr. Nash's voting record, and it was the wrong way, time, and place to make that point. I understand that my words landed differently than I intended, and that Mr. Nash experienced them as carrying a meaning I did not mean to convey. I take that seriously, and I owe him an apology for how I spoke to him, and I'd offer that without qualification. I'm passionate about our city and about moving forward on goals and policies that benefit all our citizens. My frustration was and is about votes and priorities. My mistake was my reaction for that, and I apologize again. I had hoped to say all of this to Mr. Nash directly after the audit committee on July 8th. We spoke, but it was clear this moment was not right, so I planned instead to talk with him at this council meeting. Mr. Natch has chosen to raise this publicly as the Democratic primary approaches. I will let voters weigh his account versus mine. I do not wish to turn a disagreement between colleagues into a longer public fight. Our residents deserve better from both of us, and going forward, they will get better from me. I'm looking forward to our council retreat this Friday to continue the work of building a stronger council as a body. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Volleson. Mr. Nash?
I wanted to shout out in reference to an article that was done back in December, and I know that a lot of citizens have reached out to me in regards to the audit, the municipal auditor's office, and we have Ms. Dorothy here standing in place of Mr. Harmon. But at the audit committee meeting in December, they had talked about P cards and how there was some not inappropriate, but some recommendations on things we could do to make that better. There had not been any substantial updates since 2015, and I just want to shout out our city manager, the purchasing department. They've made substantial updates, everything, and these went into effect July 1 of this year. So that audit was in December at the audit committee meeting, and they took action and implemented something that went into effect July 1 of 26. And so with that was reducing the allowed amounts that staff can spend on their P cards, a more accountable and robust and more timely reporting system from the time they make the initial purchase to when they have to report it, along with restrictions on them using, well, not restrictions, but strong suggestions for them not to use things like DoorDash, Uber Eats, and things of that nature, along with not incentivizing them to purchase gift cards other than for HR-related employee recognition, or our social workers in the social work department to use for whatever the matter may be. And so I just wanted to shout out our city manager's office, and that was something that, you know, was done and brought to the public's attention, and a lot of people had questions. And so I wanted just to follow up and make sure that people who cared knew that that was the issue that we did have. And like many of the issues as a city, we're all working to try to fix. It has been remedied. So thank you.
Thank you for bringing that up. We have an audit committee. 4 of our council members serve on that. They meet on a quarterly basis, and it's great collaboration, not only between the audit department, council committee, and our attorney and our city manager, and it's great when we can make significant progress like this, and policies and procedures. So thank you all for your work on that. Mr. Volleson.
Let me add to that. Also, the organizations that we audit, because I find that it's a very collaborative process where we learn to improve what we're doing as a government. So I want to thank those that take these audits seriously.
Any other comments, members of council? All right, we don't have any appointments to make today related to council authorities, boards, commissions, or committees. So we will stand in recess to convene in our closed meetings, and thereafter reconvene at 7 tonight. And I especially want to encourage the public, and those of you all here today, we're hosting, Vice Mayor McGuire will be hosting a public hearing for our legislative committee. We're very excited about this, looking forward to hearing from constituents on matters that we can carry forward legislatively. So that'll be one of our public hearings tonight at 7. So we will reconvene tonight at 7. Thank you all for coming.